Mr. Eggplant presents.
Hey guys, Tyler here, and thank you for checking out this video. And I'm back here with some more beta content, and we're going to be talking about the changes that Marksman Hunter and the Hunter normal side of the tree saw this last week. And I do apologize for not getting more beta content out. I have been really busy at my IRL job, not just my online job. And I had a bunch of projects and presentations that went very well at work, so that just ate up a lot of my free time. But I'm back and ready to talk about some beta changes. So we didn't see too many changes on the specific Marksman side, so that's going to be here. I guess Beast Mastery and Marksman didn't see a lot. My Year of the Spear Brethren did, though, so great changes for survival. Can't wait to see more survival hunters just out there in general. It's over the last, 3 expansions, has been one of the lowest played, other than like Season 3/Season 4 of Shadowlands, is one of the lowest played specs just in general. So always good to see some more Year of the Spear out there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the changes that we saw, and then after we look at the Wowhead post here, which I will put down in the description of the video, I will then kind of show you what the trees look like now, and then kind of my initial thoughts on the changes, and then what I would like to continue to see changed. So first off, we are losing some abilities, so before I go any further, RIP to Death Chakram is one of my favorite abilities, and because I was a Necrolord Marksman Hunter in Season 3 and Season 4 of Dragonflight, or excuse me, of Shadowlands, I'm really going to miss it. It was one of the last really holdovers from our time in Shadowlands as well, because the death blow effect was kind of inflated shot from the Venthyr. The Wild Spirits is nowhere to be seen, and then Resonating Arrow has bits and pieces of it ripped apart and put into different abilities. But this was our last last ability from Shadowlands, and now it's gone. So I do feel bad about that, but it was removed because of button bloat, which does make sense. I think it's going to be a net gain for us. It's just one less thing you have to worry about throwing out there. It does lower your focus regeneration just a little bit, and that extra 10% bonus damage for, I think it was like 15 seconds, because it was 10 seconds plus what every bounce would increase the duration again. But anyway, I just wanted to say that was one of my favorite abilities. I am sad that it's gone, but I do understand why. So we got some new talents. So we have a Blackrock Munitions where the Steel Trap and where Explosive Shot was in the tree. And so it's just going to increase the damage of Explosive Shot by 8%. Good change. I always like doing more damage, and it's connected to that node, so it does make sense. For Implosive Trap, that's a brand new trap for us. It's going to be at the very bottom of the tree. It's going to be a capstone, if you will, and it's going to be a knock up. So it's a 1.5 minute cooldown, but it's a knock up instead of a knock back. So you can choose between High Explosive Trap and Implosive Trap. God, we got a lot of exploding, imploding. We're doing all the things here in War Within. But it's a knock-up, which will be good for your group utility. All 3 Hunter specs have the ability to take it, which is great. Does a little bit of fire damage as well. That's obviously not its main point, but it's just more utility. So we have a stun in our kit now. We have a knock-up. Those are things that I, as a Marksman Hunter, did not have. A knock-back, in addition to coming back into the field of play, if you will, thanks to our bursting shot as well. So we've got some really good stuff and good utility. Now they'll just hopefully listen to a few more of my reports and my recommendations, and we'll be really cooking with premium gas. But Implosive Trap, big win for us. Knock up on a 1.5 minute cooldown. Territorial Instincts was redesigned. So initially what was happening was you didn't have to have a pet, and you could use Intimidation, which was something I had been asking for. You can still do that, but it just summons the pet now. And you don't get the 2 extra stuns for 50% of the initial duration. So that does stink. It's a little bit of a nerf, but it does lower the remaining cooldown of the base cooldown of Intimidation, which is fine. Have some nodes that moved around, made much more sense to have them where they are. We'll talk about that here in a second, including Concussive Shot and Wilderness Medicine got moved around, and then we did lose 2 talents. I already alluded to Death Chakram. Again, RIP Death Chakram. But then also Steel Trap, because Steel Trap was doing no damage. It was supposed to be not a utility node back in Dragonflight, or currently in Dragonflight, but it was kind of put as a utility that it just snared, but yet it did no damage, even though it was a bleed. It was doing literally like 20k instead of 400k or so, or 300k that some of our other abilities were doing. So it didn't make much sense. And because of that, Steel Trap is gone. So I guess I had one happy loss and one sad loss, but it's going to even itself out. And like I said, I do think that it's going to be a net gain for us with Death Chakram. Losing it could come back in some form or fashion, but getting rid of it for now is probably the best for Button Bloat. And they are going to be implementing more damage into our kit in general across the board for all 3 Hunter specs to make up for it. So, all right, so I'm not going to really talk about Beastmaster Survival, not my forte, but Marksmanship Hunter is. So we're going to get a boost to damage to Arcane Shot. It's very small, just a 3%, but I had kind of called this one already that Small Game Hunter was going to see a bit of a nerf because it was outpacing Arcane Shot even on single target. Now, granted, there was a little bit of a bug, which is down there as well, where it was multi-shot was doing 20% more damage for no reason, just for Marksman Hunter. So the multi-shot damage is going to go down significantly. Part of it was because of a bug, part of it because of a nerf to our Small Game Hunter, and then the focus cost did go up just a little bit, 50%. That's not terrible. I'm glad it's not 40 base. Because that way it's just going to be more focus. We're spending to get more true shots back thanks to our calling the shots node. And then finally, this was something I didn't know about the bug to multi-shot, so that makes sense. Something I did leave a bunch of reports on, though, because I've been working on a single target build, was Wailing Arrow and Rapid Fire not properly generating all of those wind arrows that it was supposed to if you use Legacy of the Windrunners. So that's going to be a net gain for us on single target. You're most likely, at least currently, not running with Legacy of the Windrunners on an AoE build, but I'm trying to implement Wailing Arrow into a build and test that on dummies and stuff like that here in Orgrimmar. But now let's go ahead and take a look at those talent trees themselves. I'm going to hide my face and let's go ahead and see what these talent trees look like now. And this is as of, what is the date? This is as of Wednesday, June 26th, though we did just see these changes happen on Tuesday, the 25th. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the changes to the tree so you guys can kind of see it in person. So for one, this is where Blackrock Munitions is now, right below Explosive Shot. Makes tremendous sense there. The new abilities that we had, the Implosive Trap was moved all the way down here to a capstone, so it shares it's a choice node with High Explosive Trap. The main difference between the two, obviously one's a knock up, one's a knock back, but the knock back is 40 seconds cooldown wise, and then the Implosive Trap is 1.5 minutes. So I still think this is a huge win for us, because not only do we have a knock back with Bursting Shot, we have all of our slows and stuff with our Tar Trap and Binding Shot, but we also have a knock up now, and excuse me, we have an intimidation as well, and you don't even have to have the pet for that. Now, Territorial Instincts was changed, like we said, so it will bring the pet out, but you do have to still dismiss the pet, so you will lose your Lone Wolf during that duration. But this is a big win for us. Again, knock up, knock back, snares, roots, stuns, all in our kit now, and that's all on the regular hunter side of the tree, where it should be, and not Bursting Shot being over randomly on the side of the Marksman Hunter tree. And then over here on the Marksman side, there's not a ton of movement over here, and this is kind of where I would like to talk about what I would like to see changed. So we did see our nerfs to Small Game Hunter, but that was pretty much it. So this is where I jump on my soapbox again, and we talk about multi-shot and trick shots. I put in reports and to talk about it, just like little notes. I think that if you're going to make us put a point in trick shots, it needs to work, and also make us put a point in multi-shot. It needs to work the same way as Beast Cleave does, meaning you just use multi-shot and then you gain trick shots. That would immediately help us with 2-target cleave, because that's going to be our biggest problem is Marksman Hunter is having a 2-target cleave fight, because you can never cleave outside of your volley thanks to multi-shot, needing to hit 3 targets. I think that would be an instant win for us, and it would also allow us to get rid of Chimera Shot entirely, because that's the only reason you have Chimera Shot, is it replaces your Arcane Shot, It does nature and frost damage instead of doing arcane or physical, but it's just there for pure 2-target. It used to be a big like nuke ability. It would just do a ton of damage as an instant cast, but then it had a long cooldown. I think they should make it that again, or just remove it entirely, because it doesn't really serve a purpose, at least right now in the game or in beta. And then there is some they've shown the ability to move talents around. So obviously, like these talents were over here, these talents were over here. Good changes, because it makes more sense to have them positioned where they are. But they need to do the same thing over here on the marksmanship hunter side of the tree, because there's like 3 distinct sections of the tree. There is something you're going to use for all, like it's literally like a Venn diagram, right? So for single target, this is your Venn diagram, single target. This is your Venn diagram for AoE, and then you have single target abilities on the AoE side, and you have AoE abilities on the wrong side of the tree. And why I say that is barrage and rapid fire rapid fire barrage will not be taken on single target. They're really great in AoE, but they're not so great in single target. So these should be moved over here. And likewise, Chimera Shot and Steady Focus. I guess Chimera Shot is a little bit of AoE, but it's like Steady Focus. I don't understand why Steady Focus is over here with Volley, or the AoE side of the tree. It doesn't make sense for me. I know that they would be moving 2 abilities over here to replace it with 1, so I'm not sure exactly which ability I would move. Maybe I would move, like Steady Focus and Lock and Load or something over here, or Steady Focus and Serpent Stalker's Trickery over here. But currently, Steady Focus on the right side of the tree doesn't make much sense, and having Barrage and Rapid Fire Barrage on the left side of the tree doesn't make much sense either. And I still think that Razor Fragments is much too low. Out of all of these abilities, even with Small Game Hunter being nerfed, I don't see this being as valuable as anything else down here other than maybe Killzone. So putting this back up in the tree, so maybe you take this ability here, Razor Fragments, and you put it there, and you remove this little bit here entirely, and you put your Steady Focus, maybe right here, for example, right? So you don't have to pick it. Lord knows I don't want to pick it. And then over on this side, you just take Barrage and Rapid Fire Barrage, and you put them, like right here. I think that would be very easy to do, and I would like to see some other connectors as well, but all in all, I think I've said this in my other videos, we're in a much better position than we were at this point of time in Dragonflight. So continue to leave feedback if you guys are on the beta. I know I will be doing that each and every weekend when I carve out several hours to put into the beta itself. But what do you guys think? I hope I'll have more videos out, including a single target build that we'll be talking about here after I get done recording this one. But leave me your feedback, let me down below, and let me know what you guys think, and if you are on the beta and how you're enjoying it so far. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.